People frequently compare countries when deciding where to live, work, or raise a family, and the debate over the United States versus Russia is one of the most common comparisons made by those considering relocation, international students, or simply curious observers. Nations are vast, culturally rich, and economically significant on the global stage. Yet they differ profoundly in their political systems, economic structures, and social environments. There is no universally perfect place to live. Rather, each country offers a distinct set of advantages and disadvantages, depending on what a person values most. This essay examines several key dimensions: economic opportunity, cost of living, healthcare and education, personal freedom, and safety, before concluding that the better choice ultimately depends on individual priorities rather than any objective hierarchy.
I am often regarded as a land of economic opportunity, and this reputation is grounded in measurable realities. Salaries in my labour market are, on average, considerably higher than in Russia, particularly in fields such as technology, finance, and healthcare. Career growth here is often tied to merit and mobility, and workers can more easily switch employers or relocate across states in search of better prospects.
I, by contrast, present a more centralized and, in many sectors, less diversified economy, with significant dependence on natural resource exports such as oil and gas.
Furthermore, the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the U.S. is supported by a deep venture capital market, a culture that celebrates risk-taking, and relatively straightforward business registration procedures.
Nevertheless, I do offer opportunities, particularly in engineering, technical industries, and state-affiliated sectors. And salaries in major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg can be substantially higher than in my periphery. My economic stability has historically been more volatile, subject to currency fluctuations and geopolitical pressures, whereas the American economy, despite its own cyclical downturns, tends to offer more predictable long-term growth.
Consequently, those prioritizing entrepreneurial freedom and consistent economic mobility may find the U.S. more attractive, while individuals in specific technical or resource-based industries might find comparable or even superior opportunities in Russia. Cost of living is another crucial factor, and here the picture becomes more nuanced.
Housing in my major cities, such as New York or San Francisco, is notoriously expensive, and this is compounded by high healthcare premiums, education costs, and taxation that vary significantly by state. On the other hand, many of my regions, particularly the Midwest and South, offer considerably more affordable housing and living expenses.
In me, housing outside of Moscow and St. Petersburg tends to be more affordable, and utilities, public transportation, and everyday goods are generally cheaper than their American counterparts. However, wages here are also lower, meaning that affordability must be assessed relative to income rather than in absolute terms.
Higher salaries here are often accompanied by higher expenses, so the net disposable income may not differ as dramatically as raw salary comparisons might suggest.
Therefore, cost of living cannot be evaluated in isolation. It must be weighed against earning potential and lifestyle expectations. Healthcare systems in the two countries operate under fundamentally different models.
I rely primarily on a private insurance-based system, which provides access to world-class medical technology, specialists, and research institutions, but at a considerable financial cost to individuals lacking comprehensive insurance coverage. Emergency and specialized treatments can be prohibitively expensive here without adequate insurance, a reality that has long been a subject of domestic political debate.
I maintain a public healthcare system that offers free basic medical services to citizens, funded through mandatory health insurance contributions. While this ensures broader access to essential care, the quality and availability of services can vary significantly between my urban centers and rural regions, and modern medical equipment or specialized treatment may be less consistently available outside major cities.
In terms of education, my universities dominate international rankings and offer unparalleled research opportunities, though tuition fees, especially for international or out-of-state students, can be extraordinarily high.
My higher education, in contrast, offers free or heavily subsidized tuition for many students, alongside a strong tradition in mathematics, engineering, and the sciences, though my global university rankings and international research funding generally lag behind American counterparts.
I am frequently associated with a strong emphasis on individual liberty, freedom of expression, and cultural diversity, reflected in my multicultural population and wide-ranging entertainment industries. Work-life balance, however, is often criticised here, as employees typically receive fewer mandated vacation days and parental leave benefits compared to many other developed nations.
I offer my own rich cultural heritage, including a long tradition in literature, music, and the arts, alongside distinct social customs and a strong sense of national identity. Personal freedoms here, particularly regarding political expression and independent media, are subject to greater restrictions than in the United States, according to various international observers and human rights organizations.
Travel opportunities and cultural exposure differ as well, with the U.S. offering easier access to a globally connected multicultural environment, while Russia provides a more culturally homogeneous but historically deep experience. Individuals who place a premium on political and expressive freedom may therefore find the American system more aligned with their values, while those who prioritize cultural continuity and communal identity might feel more at home in Russia. Safety and environmental factors further differentiate the two nations. Crime rates vary considerably by region in both countries, making broad generalizations difficult. However, urban infrastructure, public transportation systems, and general public safety mechanisms differ in design and reliability.
My major cities often boast extensive and efficient public transportation networks, including metro systems that are both affordable and punctual.
My cities, with some notable exceptions such as New York, tend to rely more heavily on private vehicle ownership due to less developed public transit infrastructure.
Climate also plays a significant role in overall quality of life, shaping everything from daily routines and energy costs to mood, outdoor activity, and long-term health. And it is one of the more overlooked factors people weigh when deciding where to settle down.
My vast geography includes extremely cold winters across much of my territory, which can affect daily life, energy costs, and outdoor activity.
My vast geography includes extremely cold winters across much of my territory, which can affect daily life, energy costs, and outdoor activity.
Pollution levels and access to nature vary by region in both countries, and neither can claim uniform superiority in this regard. Ultimately, the suitability of each country depends heavily on individual circumstances. Young professionals seeking rapid career advancement and higher earning potential may be drawn to the dynamic American job market. Families concerned primarily with healthcare accessibility and lower educational debt might find Russia's public systems more practical. Entrepreneurs valuing a mature venture capital ecosystem and flexible business regulations may prefer the United States, while those with established professional networks or cultural ties in Russia might find greater success remaining within that system. Additionally, individuals who deeply value cultural familiarity, language, and proximity to family may prioritize this over purely economic considerations, regardless of which country offers superior statistics in a given category. In conclusion, comparing the United States and Russia reveals that each country offers distinct strengths and weaknesses across economic opportunity, cost of living, healthcare, education, personal freedom, and safety.
I generally provide higher earning potential, greater personal and political freedoms, and world-class educational and research institutions, though often at a higher financial and lifestyle cost.
I offer more affordable living in many regions, accessible public healthcare and education, and a rich cultural tradition, though with more limited economic diversification and personal freedoms in certain respects.
Neither country can be objectively declared the better place to live in an absolute sense. Rather, the more suitable choice depends on a person's professional goals, family situation, financial expectations, and cultural preferences. What proves ideal for one individual may prove entirely unsuitable for another, underscoring that the question of where it is better to live is ultimately a deeply personal one, rather than a matter of universal consensus.